So hello and welcome everybody to the stream of Group Stage draw for the TPMFA Cup second season. I'll be explaining a few things and talking about the teams. I'm Reina, of course, and Ilval here hosting it and drawing the teams. Meanwhile, as you can see, there are two groups. Both of them will contain 5 squads. This time around, we have 9 teams, but 10 squads, so very similar to the first season, actually. However, not a crew being the surprise they always are. This time, signing up 2 squads, thanks to that abundance of players they do have, and that means these 2 squads can't play in the same group, obviously. And if one of the not a crew squads gets drawn into one group, the other goes into the second immediately. So I think we can start very soon as well. As you can see, the list of the clubs are all on the left side. We see many returners from the season 1, but also some new clubs in the mix, obviously. Some of them just reformed clubs based on their old revenants, just like Endgame, for example, mostly composed of Par 7 and Snazzy players, and Final Fantasy mostly composed of rogue family players. But obviously all of them have some new faces in the mix as well, and we'll be talking more about that in the future. We are starting the draw now, and the first team to be drawn will be Napoli. SSC is the first club to be drawn, and they will be placed in Group A as the first pick. So obviously, at least for me, the overall level of the cup has definitely risen, and even the likes of Galatasaray, for example, who actually withdrew from the last cup, they have made some very great improvements, and they have a very new squad, but a very talented squad. Players there like Selçuk Inan and Phil Ahmetov, all of them pretty good, pretty talented. Of course, supported by great and more experienced players like Bülent Korkmaz. So I'd expect to see them fight more as well for their position in the group, wherever they will be drawn into. Napoli is quite similar. Obviously, they have the same, almost the same squad as they have had in the past. Key players featuring Hamza and Mark 123, of course, but also containing Kozmin, Iglesias, Burak Yilmaz, for example, Kai, and they can definitely mount a challenge as well somewhere. But yeah, if we're talking about like the high quality teams, then definitely the number is higher than the last season, and there is a very real chance of most of them being placed in the same group. Obviously, everything here is random, but these things do happen. We see death groups in Champions League year by year. And the second team who will be drawn is Galatasaray, and they will go into Group B. So no Napoli and Galatasaray face off, which means, of course, they will probably have stronger challenges set for them. But everything is possible, and we will see who will be the third pick as well then, and the second going into Group A. And immediately after Napoli, SSC, Final Fantasy enters Group A, which means Napoli gets quite quite the bite in there already. Final Fantasy, like I said, mostly composing of rogues players. Some of them have changed. They have brought in some newer players as well, but some have stayed around for some while already, just like Darksea, for example. Kerolos being quite a new signing, and now Pedri as well, coming from Victoria. So the core remaining the same, of course, Riku, LM10, and Kapi, Inua, and Hans Krankel. Right now, we do not see Jacobe and Facepalm in their squad, who are busy in real life, but I hope they will be returning to the game soon as well. And now we will see the second pick for Group B. And Victoria SC is going into Group B, and that is definitely a team that personally I was surprised about that they have signed up, but they have been playing quite healthily, and they have a great talent pool in there as well. I mean, obviously, once Menace resurrected that team, now he's gone from that team, but taken over by Rascal and Peter, they have turned it into quite a good mid to high tier club. And if we look at players like Rascal Peter themselves, Nurmio, Thai, obviously Sharvin from Special Forces previously, Marcus Trindade, all of them very experienced by their own accolades, and I believe Victoria can definitely mount a challenge as well in this cup season. And now back to Group A. Now, if I saw that correctly, not a crew is going into Group A, which means not B crew will be placed immediately into Group B. First of all, I'd like to say Not a crew doing a good job bringing all the players together and actually letting everybody play. It's nice to see that. Uh, Napoli has been attempting to do that for quite a while, getting a lot of players, but most of them don't stay around, or just their club atmosphere not being very good. Uh, but right now, not a crew doing very good job with it. Can't really separate their A and B side, if you'd call it like that, and we have to see how they will perform in the competitions. But yeah, the first team going into Group A and second team going into Group B. Well, right now, just solely thanks to Final Fantasy being in the Group A, does seem a bit more difficult. But we will see what's the fourth team to be in there, and that is going to be Endgames, which means Endgame will have the challenge of facing Final Fantasy. Well, it was expected to see two strong teams face each other, but that early on, it's kind of raised the question of who's going to be third in that group if Final Fantasy Endgame will obviously battle it for the first and second position. But there are still plenty of strong teams in the drawing pot, just like New Factory, Special Forces, Master Prime. But however, New Factory is going into Group B, meeting the likes of Victoria, Galatasaray, and Not B Crew. Well, they are seemingly getting an easier group, but time will tell who is gonna be their fifth in the Special Forces will enter Group A, meaning that Barca Prime will be left for Group B. Now, this is uh, this is actually pretty interesting because Special Forces kind of balances that A group out. It's hard to say what level they are at because they have done some changes to the squad, obviously, but most of the team's core, most of the key players remain the same. They obviously have some new signings as well. Said, who was rumored to join them quite a while ago already, but he's returning to play now. And Barca Prime being that addition to Group B is definitely giving some sort of a challenge for New Factory because, well, New Factory doing very well in the league, and in the last cup they didn't get into the final, which definitely left them into a sore spot. But everything is really possible looking at these groups, and even the seemingly outside clubs definitely stand a chance in there. But thank you for watching, and first games will be already played tomorrow, like said in the announcements. So stick around until the schedule is published. And yeah, thank you for joining. Who is going to be playing as well in the cup? This is me signing off. Thank you for watching, everybody.